There's about to be a moon landing right here in our region. Destination Moon, the Apollo 11 mission, is on its way to the Senator John Heinz History Center at the end of September. The exhibition features dozens of artifacts from the Apollo 11 mission in 1969, including the command module Columbia, which rarely leaves the Smithsonian's National Air and Space Museum. While it's here, the History Center will be featuring the stories of the Pittsburghers, who played a big part in putting a man on the moon. Andy Masich's back with us. He's president and CEO of the History Center. Good to see you again.
It's good to be here.
Yeah, well, you come down every now and then with really cool exhibits that can teach people a lot, but this one's really special because of the unique exhibit you're going to be able to have.
Well, you know, it really is special, and the History Center is proud to be an affiliate of the Smithsonian Institution, and that means that we have a contract with the world's largest museum that requires us to have Smithsonian objects on exhibit at all times. But this one is really special because the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum, which is the most visited museum in the world, wow. 8 million people a year go to Washington to the Smithsonian to see things like the Apollo 11 capsule that brought Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin and Michael Collins to the moon in 1969. But that material, those moon-flown objects, are going to come right here to Pittsburgh because the Smithsonian considers us one of their best affiliates.
And this is not an exhibit that's being seen in lots and lots of places across the country.
Only 4 venues in America will get the Destination Moon exhibit: Seattle, Houston, St. Louis, and Pittsburgh.
Pretty remarkable.
So we're the East Coast venue for this. If you're within 300 miles of Pittsburgh, this is the place to come.
And the star attraction, the most significant object probably is the Apollo 11 command module. I'm surprised the Smithsonian would ever let it out of the building.
Well, you know, they never have let it out of the building since 1969. It's only because the Air and Space Museum is undergoing a $1 billion remodel. That's billion with a B, and they're going to remodel that museum, and they're taking some of their best material off exhibit and sending it to their best affiliates, and that's why we're getting it here in Pittsburgh.
Oh, this is really a rare treat. Then you mentioned that Pittsburgh's one of just a few cities to get this exhibit. Is that in part because of the role Pittsburgh played in making the moon landing possible?
You know, I wish that were true, that was the rationale, but it was actually because the Smithsonian considers the History Center, the largest history museum in Pennsylvania, to be one of their best affiliates, and that's why we got tapped. But
so it's just a sidebar benefit that there's actually a story to tell.
We wanted it so badly because we knew that North American Rockwell, a Pittsburgh-based company, built that command module, and we knew that ATI and U.S. Steel built much of the Saturn V rocket and those rocket engines, and we knew that Union Switch and Signal made the firing relays for the Saturn V and for the LEM that landed on the moon, and we knew that Alcoa made the aluminum for that landing module and many other components, and we also knew that Westinghouse made the cameras that brought you the video or the moving pictures of the first steps on the moon. Westinghouse at that time was getting a lot of military contracts, and they knew how to harden electronics for extreme conditions, and that's why they got the contract to do the cameras. But it took 400,000 Americans to put a man on the moon in 1969. 400,000 engineers and mathematicians and scientists, but also the people in fabrication and craft services and all the other functions of NASA and its related businesses. But the astronauts were kind of the rock stars at the top of the pyramid.
Literally at the top of it.
At the very top. And guys like Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin and Michael Collins, who weren't Pittsburghers, by the way, they used all that equipment, all that technology, and with their guts and perseverance, they made it to the moon. Everything they did was the first time, and they didn't have a lot of backup or redundancy in their systems. This was an analog era.
Yeah.
The computer that they had at Mission Control was as big as a house, and it didn't have the computing power that you have in your iPhone.
Yeah, we got it in our pocket today. So the exhibit opens the end of the month. How long is it going to be here in Pittsburgh?
September 29th to February 18th.
Okay.
There's going to be all kinds of activities for kids. You can get your tickets online, or you can buy them at the History Center in the Strip.
All right. Well, exciting. Talk about a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get to see the command module of Apollo 11. Andy Masich, the Heinz History Center. Thank you so much, and congratulations for bringing it here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Next up, a local startup that's using regenerative medicine to restore muscle function. Find out how it could improve the lives of millions of people around the world. We'll be right back.